Здравейте, здравейте на всички!
Здравейте!
Здравейте! Е, малко изчакваме все пак всеки да се събере, да се съберат тук в Zoom. А, ще изчакам още една минутка да влезнат всички, но много благодаря за точността. Аз като един нидерландски възпитаник много го оценявам. Добре, да започваме. Добре дошли отново на нашия вебинар за Radboud University. Днес ще ви срещна с две прекрасни студентки, които учат там и не само са завършили своя бакалавър там, а и в момента следват магистратура, магистърски програми. Но за тях малко по-късно, нека първо да се представя. Аз се казвам Радина и съм част от екипа на Unify. Както аз, така и моите колеги, много от тях сме завършили в Нидерландия. И имаме немалък опит, който можем да ви споделим. А, преди да си говорим за Radboud, искам да ви разкажа малко за нас и за Unify. Споделям си тази чудесна презентация. Unify или University for You е специализиран консултант за образование в чужбина. Помагаме в вашето образователно пътешествие и сме ментор във всяка една ваша стъпка, за да може да изберете а, най-подходящата програма и университет точно за вас. Също предлагаме и кариерно ориентиране, което е много ценно както за 7, 9, 10 клас, 12-класници, така и за бакалаври, които искат да продължат своето образование по-нагоре по академичната стълбица. Искам да ви покажа моите чудесни колеги. Да, това сме ние. И намираме наистина, както и пише, на правилното място за всеки един наш ученик. Много често въпросът е: кой е най-добрият университет? Това е най-добрият университет, който е за вас. Ние точно тогава се включваме, за да ви помогнем да го откриете, защото да, определено има класации, които а, те са доста престижни и те съответно акредитират определени програми по определени критерии, но в крайна сметка най-добрият университет и най-добрата програма я избираме лично с вас, спрямо вашия профил и качествата на характера, разбира се. Само един момент. Така. Ето където е тази въпросителна презентацията, която виждате в момента. Точно там успяваме да дадем тези отговори, да намерим какъв тип човек сте, какво е важно за вас, какво желаете да правите след като се дипломирате и какво ви се учи. Тези три компонента са взаимно свързани и ние сме по пътя с вас, за да ви помогнем да стигнете до избора и да направите информирано решение, което е най-важното. Ето как ви помагаме. Имаме безплатни консултации, имаме кариерно ориентиране, имаме менторска програма, която наистина ви помага от ученик да се превърнете в студент, тъй като това е един много ключов момент в живота на един човек. И ние много добре знаем за това, защото ние, заедно с нашите родители, сме минали по този път и доста е вълнуващо. Разбира се, помагаме с кандидатстването, с приема в университетите и с доста така сходни неща допълнителни по пътя. Какво да уча? Или метода кариерен компас, както виждате тук на екрана. Малко оставям да го видите, защото има доста текст, но помагаме точно през тези нива да се справим с страха, помагаме да се опознаете, намираме вашата суперсила, помагаме ви да изясните вашите ценности, разказваме ви за специалности и професии, защото имаме такова наблюдение, че всъщност има много повече професии и специалности, които вие като ученици може би не сте се сещали или не ви е хрумвало, че можете да бъдете точно такъв професионалист. Чертаем с вас вашите цели и правим план и накрая ви помагаме да вземете информирано решение. Когато говоря за кариерния компас, този метод е уникален. Неговата създадоха е Милена Генчева, която се надявам много от вас да познават и от нашите изложения, от различните презентации, които правим. Създадохме този кариерен компас, тези 7 стъпки и тези много интересни карти. Така през игрови модел, тъй като съзнанието се отпуска и влиза в такъв стейт, извинявам се за английския, може много по-лесно един бъдещ студент да опознае себе си и да разбере всъщност какво му се учи. Ето тук малко за ориентация, когато говорим за кариерно ориентиране, какви видове услуги предлагаме, за да се чувствате подготвени. Разбира се, ето тук на екрана сме ви сложили едно QR кодче, ако искате да дойдете на безплатна консултация, за да започнем вашия процес по кандидатстване. Разбира се, ако не го сканирате сега, винаги може да отидете на нашия сайт или да ни позвоните на нашите телефони и да си запазите среща, за да можем да ви обърнем лично внимание, тъй като все пак днес сме се събрали за Radboud University. Спирам си презентацията в момента и се връщам в целия си вид, за да ви разкажа малко за Radboud University. Сега аз ви казах, че самата аз съм завършила в Нидерландия, но след като станах образователен консултант, има малко по-голям поглед върху всички университети в Нидерландия и не само. И наистина мога да кажа, че Radboud се отличава като изследователски университет. Ще ви кажа и защо. Нека малко информация преди това. Къде се намира университета? Намира се в град Нijmegen. Не знам дали сте били, но това е най-старият град в Нидерландия. Намира се близо до границата с Германия и така има доста интересни културни и исторически забележителности. Самия университет е разположен на цял декар. Там имат лекционни зали, имат си университетска болница, спортен център, книжарница, библиотека, офис пространства, изследователски лаборатории. Средата е изключително международна, това може би не ви отчудва за Нидерландия, а сред преподавателите има Нобелови лауреати. Това определено отличава университета. Самия университет предлага 13 бакалавърски програми на английски език и 35 магистърски програми на английски език. Когато ви казах, че наистина този университет се отличава, ще подкрепя думите си, като ви кажа, че той за четвърта поредна година, през 2025-та, получи престижното второ място в класацията на KeuzeGids, която точно тази селекционна Guide Selection Program. И 7 от програмите бакалавърски бяха отличени като Top-Rated Programs. Те ги оценяват по различни категории, като съдържание на програмата, самите преподаватели, оценяването, което се случва там, подготовката за кариера и, разбира се, атмосферата. Също така 18 от техните 35 магистърски програми бяха оценени през 2025 над средното ниво, даже високо ниво. Който не е бил в Наймехен и в Радбауд, наистина така си струва преживяването да се види. Говорим за образование, то наистина е на топ ниво, както чухте и самите вие. Сега, заедно с мен, тук са Джулия и Виктория. Както споменах, те двете са завършили своите бакалавърски програми в Radboud University и в момента следват своите магистърски програми там. Виктория е с International Business Communication бакалавър, Джулия е с психология, която е една много желана специалност сред българските студенти, по наше наблюдение. Те ще ви разкажат и за магистратурите си, разбира се. И преди да предам микрофона към тях, искам да ви подканя, ако имате въпроси, да ги задавате в чата, за да може накрая, след като те презентират, да направим един кратък Q&A и да се възползват от това, че те са тук с нас, макар и в момента точно в Наймехен в Радбауд, и да могат така от кухнята да ви отговорят на вашите въпроси. Така че сега ще включа на английски, за да мога да ги поканя, да самите да се включат и те. So, girls, I'm switching into English. And I'm giving the microphone to you. So please introduce yourself and share with us what you have. Maybe you need to unmute yourself first. Good.
Yeah, I'm trying to set up the presentation real quick. Let me just work. All right. Здравейте. Hello, everyone. I'm Julia, and I will start with the first half of our little presentation that we have prepared to you to just give you a glimpse into Radboud University, but also our city and, yeah, the different studies and what you can expect of the university. You've already met us. We've already been, introduced, but yeah, Victoria and I both are from Germany, and we've done our bachelor's and our master's at Radboud University. We just really liked it there. So if you have any questions about either of these directions of studies, you're welcome to ask. We'll do our best to, also share our experiences with these studies. So first of all, we would like to share you some information with you about the Netherlands. What is it like to study in the Netherlands? So a little card, you can see that it's very central in Europe, but and also in the world. So a lot of students come from all over the globe. So it's really international. And Nijmegen in the Netherlands is also to the very east. So it's right at the border to Germany, which also makes it a very nice location to start traveling from, and really, makes it also international. So in the Netherlands, you can expect really high quality education. It's really always ranked very highly internationally, but at the same time, it's also quite affordable. We'll get into more details later. And a lot of students also keep working in the Netherlands after they finish their studies. So there are excellent career opportunities if you would like to stay working in the Netherlands. But also generally, the universities, they offer a wide range of English programs, not just Dutch language ones. So there is a high chance that if you're really interested in a certain study, that it's also offered in English. And because of that, there is a lot of yeah, there are a lot of international students that come to study in the Netherlands. So it's a very multicultural society, which is really nice. And also creates a very rich student life, not just in our city Nijmegen, but also if you visit other cities. And generally, it's also a great and safe place to live. Yeah, there's lots to explore, and yeah, it's a really nice country to live. But also, of course, you are here to learn a bit more of Nijmegen, which is where Radboud University is located. Here you can see the historical city center. We're actually the oldest city in the Netherlands. So yeah, if you come to study here or visit, yeah, you're going to be met with really nice old building and a lot of historic facts. But why should you come live in Nijmegen and study here? Well, while it is the oldest city in the Netherlands, it's also a very lively student town. There is a high percentage of the population of Nijmegen consists of students. So there always is something going on that students are organizing events and a lot of green spaces. So when I first came to Nijmegen, I was really feeling at home because it was so green. And I'm from a smaller town, so I appreciated that. As you can see on this picture, we have a lovely river and also a little beach where you can swim in the summer in the river. And you might be lucky and see the wild horses roaming around there. So you see, it's a very green and yeah, very nice space. Also, the cultural life is quite rich. There's always a festival going on, as you can also see on this picture, or some concerts, sports events. But if you're more into the coziness, there's also a lot of cafes and places to eat. So you see, there's a lot to do. And if you're maybe wanting to explore outside of Nijmegen, it's also a really nice place to start traveling from because there's a Flixbus and other things. And in the city, there are bike paths everywhere. So like a real Dutch person, it's really easy to get around by bicycle within minutes. So that's really nice. So let's start talking about Radboud University, which is really why you're all here. So why Radboud University, and what does it offer you as a student? Well, recently Radboud has been, yeah, ranked as third most sustainable university, which is something that we're really proud of, because we aim to be fully sustainable as a campus. And partially we've already reached that. For instance, our social science building, which you can see in the left corner a little bit, is completely energy neutral. And we actually have our own office for this, where you can go if you have any sustainability things or anything you want to organize, which is the green office. But at the same time, sustainability is also integrated in our study programs. For instance, in psychology, we have a research project every year, and often topics that we research are also how do people, act more sustainably? How do we get them to act more sustainably? Why do they not? So it's also really nice because there is a lot of focus on sustainability in the work fields these days. And generally, our campus is really green. It is one of the greenest campuses in the Netherlands. As you can see here, there are a lot of green spaces where students like to study. Personally, in the summer, I really like to just sit outside with friends and study. But there's also our own forest on the campus, which is nice for taking walks between classes and just, taking a little stroll, which is really nice. We also have very modern facilities. As you can see here, you also may work with robots. There's a lot of research on, for instance, how people interact with robots, but also generally multimedia centers, a lot of good IT facilities, and also high-tech laboratories. So we have, for instance, buildings where you have really high magnetic research happening, or MRIs. So there's a lot of, really high-tech laboratories on campus, which is really nice because you can also get involved with those if you're interested in that. Research in general is very important at Radboud. We are a research university, so of course there's a focus on it. Especially also during your study, you'll get into contact with research. For instance, if you're more into natural sciences, you might work in the laboratory with your own research projects. And most of your teachers are actually also active in research. So they can really tell you a lot about what they're currently working on, what the current findings are in research, which is really fun because you always get the news information and they're experts in their field. So if you're really interested in something, you can, chat with them. They're really open to that and they're really excited to share more about their knowledge. Nijmegen, as I showed with the map, it's very central, so that also makes our community here on campus quite international. We actually have more than 100 nationalities on campus. So even if you're coming from abroad and you might be worried, hey, I'm going to be international here, there's probably a lot of Dutch people. You're not going to be alone. There's a lot of other nationalities, a lot of people who also come from abroad, which is also why international student organizations exist. For instance, we have a very active Erasmus network, but also other organizations aimed at internationals, which is really nice. So you're going to feel at home really easily. The teaching is also something which is really nice to highlight because I feel like coming from Germany, it is quite different to universities there, maybe. It's really personal. So you stand quite central in your studies and in the guidance. So you have a teacher who also really, talks to you about the topics and gets in depth with you on topics. And usually courses consist of a lecture and a work group. So during lectures, you have a professor who's active in that field of research or in that topic, giving like a speech. And you're always welcome to ask questions, which is really nice. But also work groups are smaller scale, kind of like at school, groups where you have a teacher who will really go through the topic with you. So if you have questions, they'll sit down with you and discuss, which is really nice and also makes a transfer from school to university easier. You also will have courses about soft skills. For instance, I learned how to have a client intake interview. So there are courses that are also aiming at your professional development and the development of your skills, which is of course also really relevant. What I also really like is that there are study advisors. So at some points, if you, for instance, run into a delay or you want to look at other courses from other study programs, they can sit down with you and plan out your study program. So it's really nice to have this guidance, and it helped me a lot, especially in the beginning when I was getting used to studying. And usually there's always some sort of mentor who will help you out. What's also quite relevant is that if you have an exam and you don't pass the first try, the resit for this exam will be in the same academic year. So you don't have to wait a whole year until you can retake an exam. What's also nice to know is that if you don't pass the resit, you get to try it again for two times the next year. So there's no limit on how many times you can really try in total, just 2 times per year. But that's really nice. Of course, you're also here to learn a bit about the programs that we offer. So here's an overview of all the international English language bachelor's programs and the different topics or faculties. If you would like to read more about them, you can always go to the website we have put in a white box as well, because there you can take a better look at what these studies entail, because some of them might sound a bit similar, and see what the differences are. As you can see, also psychology has a little star. That is because it has an earlier application deadline of the 15th of January. So if you would have liked to start this year in September, That's unfortunately not possible anymore unless you have already applied before the 15th of January, because there is a selection procedure. But I'll get into that a bit more. Yeah, so if you would like to read what this means, so you're interested in psychology, the selection and placement procedure, what does it mean? You can always go on this website. So pretty much you apply a bit earlier, because after that you will get instructions for a selection procedure. So you'll have to write a motivation letter or another task. So they give you a ranking number, and based on this ranking number, you might get into the study or not. There are 600 spots, so yeah, usually those get filled, and then until 1,000 in the ranking numbers, people also still get in. So yeah. For the next part, Victoria will take over. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So we also have quite a lot of master's programs. In total, it's 119 that are taught fully in English. Pretty much all the fields that you saw that we have as a bachelor program also have a master's program in English, and also some of our faculties that are in the bachelor only in Dutch will have a master's program. So for example, if you want to study a master in medicine or in law, you can do that, even though our bachelor programs in those fields are only in Dutch. But we have so many, so we cannot give you a full list right now. If you do want to take a master's at Radboud, you can just have a look at the website. There are a lot of filters that you can use and adjust the search and find the master's program that suits to you. And if you're not sure if it fits, you can always do an e-check or also just contact us. There are also always possibilities to contact a university student who studies that program, so you can get a lot of information about all the different programs just from that page. Yeah. Oh, I think so can you go to the admissions? Yes.
Sorry.
So for the bachelor admissions that we have, you need your high school diploma. It is important that you note that all the diplomas are assessed individually. That means we will actually have a look at all of your diplomas. So if there's something that you think, oh, I might not have a good grade in one specific topic, and we see, okay, this topic is maybe not that relevant for the bachelor that you want to study, you might still be eligible for the program, even though on the first glance it might not meet the requirements. The easiest way to check it is to just apply and see if you need to submit any additional stuff. You need to prove your language proficiency depending on which school you are. You don't need to do an extra certificate, but maybe you need to take either a TOEFL or like Cambridge exam. But you can check that on the website. The grades that you need for that are also different per program. So the easiest is just to check the program that you want to study, or also do the e-check that you can see here with the link. And then you will find the requirements that are relevant for you. It will directly tell you, oh, you might be, you are not admissible based on this. You might need to add this certificate, or it will tell you, yeah, the grades that you have are just fine. You are admissible with this, diploma. So even if you are unsure, just check on the website. You can find a lot of information. And if you're still not sure, you can always write us or give us a call. For masters, it's even a little bit broader than the bachelor admissions requirements. You just need a bachelor degree in the related program. There are different programs that have specific requirements. So for example, you have to have at least 5 ECs in statistics, or you have to have 5 ECs in math, depending on the program, of course. In some programs, you don't need to have any statistics or math courses. It really depends. And the same way there, you also need to prove that you speak enough English. You can do that with the same certificates, and the same rules apply here as well. The programs will give you a list of grades that you need to achieve with the language certificates, and you can just see if you meet them there. Yeah. Okay, so the application is quite easy in the Netherlands. We have one website for all universities and all programs. It's StudiLink. You just go to that website and you upload your diploma and your documents there. And then you get an email from us to Osiris, which is the program that we use for our university. And there you can upload all the other relevant documents. So for example, your language certificates or just any other diploma or certificate that you want to upload. It's important to keep in mind the deadlines. As Julie already said, the selective bachelor's program, which is psychology in English, has an earlier deadline. It's the 15th January. And soon after that is our master's deadline if you want to apply for scholarships. We have some scholarships that are only available for master's students. So if you want to take any of those, you have to apply within the next 11 days. Then if you don't want to take any scholarships, you have time till 1st May. This is the deadline for both the bachelor's and the master's students who are EU and EEA citizens. The bachelor's deadline is for anyone who wants to apply for the housing lottery. We will have a look at the housing in a second, but just to keep in mind, the deadline is then the 1st May. If you find your housing yourself and you already have housing or you don't want to apply with the housing lottery, you have still time till 1st July to apply for the university. So you have quite some time to finish everything and to get your diploma. If you're in high school, you might not get your final diploma before 1st May or before 15th January if you apply for psychology, but that is really not a problem at all. You can apply with your last diploma that you got and just let us know, okay, I will get my full diploma later, and then we will keep that in mind because we of course know that most people who are still in high school will not graduate by 15th January. But so we can have a look at all your motivation letters and all your documents individually, like we say we do, then we need more time. So that's why the deadlines are earlier. And even if you didn't apply with your final diploma, you can still submit all the documents you have and just submit everything when you have it. Just start your application before the deadline. Yeah, I already started a little bit with SSHN. This is the housing lottery, and we can have a look a bit more. Because in the Netherlands, it's sometimes quite difficult to find housing. Radboud University tries to help all the students as best as we can. You are eligible for the housing assistance if you're either a master's student, a first-year international student, who's currently living outside, and who applies before the deadline. If you are the bachelor's or a pre-master student, you can join the lottery. In the end, you both end up with the same type of apartment. Just for master student, we try to help them actually find an apartment. For the bachelor and pre-master students, it's a lottery. So you sign up for it, and every Wednesday you can put your name in the pot for the apartment that you like. And then it is the lottery system. We pull a name and that person gets that apartment. In the summer, there are quite a lot of apartments that get pulled in the lottery because, of course, all the old students are leaving, all the new ones are coming. So there are a lot of opportunities for you to find an apartment. But yeah, because there's a housing shortage in the whole Netherlands, we cannot guarantee that. But from own experience, if you apply soon enough, there's always an option to find housing. And even if it's not in Nijmegen, you can either look in the cities next by, for example, Arnhem, but you can also look in the German towns next to Nijmegen. For example, I still live in Germany because I found a really great apartment there. It was much easier to find it there because not every student can live there. For example, people who need the Dutch address for their visa, they cannot live in Germany. So the competition is not that big, and you can find an apartment cheaper and faster in Germany. So as a backup option, you can also look for that. Also, Arnhem, Horsbeck, all the towns in the area, you can look there as well. Yeah, about our types of accommodation. as I said, we have the student complexes that are from SSHN. The picture shows one of the rooms, a little glimpse how your apartment could look like. They usually come with like starter furniture from the students before you. So you can take some tables or bed or that from the student before you. Some apartments come even with already furniture. It depends on the apartment. You have then your own room, and sometimes you even get your own facilities, but sometimes you share them. It depends very much on the room that you choose. There are rooms where you live in a hallway with maybe 8 to 12 other students, and you have then several bathrooms on the hallway and maybe a bigger kitchen that you can share, but you have your own room with your own sink there. But there are also other apartments where you share it only with 4 other people. Then you also have a bigger space together. So it really depends. I would recommend having a look very early. You can also apply for find your own residence, just rent a normal apartment, or there's sometimes also the option to get a room in a house of a person who lives in Nijmegen. But yeah, the only tip that I have for you there is really start early. Now a little bit about our student life and our social support system. First, we will start with the orientation week. Yeah, it takes place in August. Usually it's the last week of August or the week before the last week. It is a full week with different workshops and lectures in the afternoon or in the morning, where you can learn about how to study at university, what Radboud is all about, and everything that you need to know before starting to fully study. And in the afternoon and evening, you have some fun activities where you get to know the city, you have parties, you have the intro festival that you can see on the picture there. It is a really great opportunity to get to know your fellow students and make some friends in the beginning, especially because you're mixed with Dutch students and international students, and they are all the students that will study the same as you. So you can get a better, get a feel about the students who will study with you, get to know some of them, and it makes it much easier. In the beginning of the semester, sometimes it feels a bit overwhelming to come to a new country and to start a new study. Is of course a lot of things that change. And if you already have some faces that you know where to go, because everyone is in the same situation, you can look for rooms together. And also, if you are in a lecture, you can see someone and don't have to sit alone. You can just go sit with them. And yeah, it's easier that way. You just know already some people. Yeah, besides the people that you can meet in your classroom, you can also meet a lot of people during our through the study associations. Study associations are like clubs, and we have them about every topic that you can imagine. We have an international study associate. We have 2 even international study associations, ESN and second one, which name I forgot. But there you can just find other international students. Each sport also has their own study association. They're mostly also available, for international students, because most of the people there already speak Dutch, speak English, even if they're Dutch. And some may say, oh, I'm more comfortable with Dutch, but then still speak English. So you will always be able to enter those clubs. We also have one about theater, debating, any music instruments. We have a big band, and we also have different culture and ideology related student association. And lastly, every program also has their own study association. For my study, it was Babylon. I think for the management faculty, it is the biggest one. And there you have synergy, and psychology also has their own one. So really, you can get to know more students who study the same as you, or you can also find other students who have similar interests than you. It is a really nice way to get involved in the university and find some friends. Yeah, we also have a sports center. Yeah, you cannot see it on the picture behind me, but we have a really big sports center with several soccer fields. We have in a huge gym where you can work out, but also outside you can play tennis, beach volleyball, handball. There are over 80 different sports that you can do besides just going to the gym. And they have different courses that go either over the semester or 1 hour classes that you can book between classes. And all of that is included in the sports subscription, which costs less than 200 euros per year. And then you can go to the gym as many times as you want and join as many classes as you want. You can join 2 of the semester full courses, and then on top of that, you can take every day a different hour class. So if you want to just stay in the sports center and just do sports for your whole study, it is also possible. I would recommend to also study, by the way, but you can also spend a lot of time there. Yeah. In general, you will always be able to find support at Radboud. We will help you with pretty much everything. During your study, you can talk to study advisors that Julia already mentioned, or mentors. Different courses have different tutors that you can ask. If there's a bigger problem, you can contact the student dean. In the gym, there are different trainers. So there's always someone to support you. The only thing that you have to do is reach out and ask for help. And even if the person that you ask is not the right person, they will redirect you to the person who can help you, and pretty much they will try to help you as best as they can and solve every issue that you have. For me, in my first year, I had to choose a foreign language, and I chose Spanish, and I ended up to be really bad at Spanish. And I was really worried about it because I failed some exams, and I was very stressed about it. So I talked to the student advisor, and she recommended that I can switch to a different language, or I can switch to English, which I did. And I didn't even have to take longer through that. I, in the end, still took longer to study because I wanted to take some more courses, but I didn't need to. Yeah, and that was through the help of the student advisor. They, of course, help you while you study, but also after graduation, you're not really alone. We keep in touch with our alumni. We have a great career service that helps you to write your job applications, but also write your CV. They give you different trainings like network training, but also trainings on and workshops on personal branding. If you really don't know what to do, you can go to the career orientation. There you can make an appointment with a person, a career officer, and they will help you to find what job might be suitable for you. We also have a job portal with vacancies. Most of them are in the Netherlands, but there are also sometimes international vacancies. And we have a lot of career events. Especially if you join one of the student associations, they also create their own career events. So, for example, Babylon will make a job market with people from companies with different consultancy companies, so that you can get to know people in the field and network a little bit. And they also offer an orientation year for graduates and help you figure out what you want to do. Yeah. If you want to know a little bit more about us, we have quite a few events for international students, but generally students. For example, our open days, they're coming in March. And we also have a lot of webinars, just like that one. They're also streamed, so you don't even have to watch them. You can watch them later. And you have 7 days time to watch them. We also have bachelor experience days or student for a day, where you can join a student and go over campus. They will take you to their lectures and classes and show you around campus, show you everything that they do. And we also have virtual fairs if you cannot come in person. Yeah, our next events are 2 webinars. We have one webinar beyond the classroom that is about internships and exchanges. If you join that one, I will also be there, so you can see me there again and ask your questions. And the webinar after that is living in Nijmegen. It is more about how does life in Nijmegen look like, what is there to do, and what can you expect when moving here. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can, of course, ask us now, but you can also contact us here. The study information email is for general questions. If you have any questions about your diploma or any certificates, you can contact the admissions office at admissions@wu.nl. And generally, you can follow us on our social media. We are quite active there, and we even opened a new Snapchat account, which will soon be also filled with content. So have a look over there as well. Well, thank you for listening. If you are there any questions that were posed that we can answer right now?
Victoria, Julia, thank you so much. That was very, it was impressive and as well very brief and structured. I appreciate it. Me, myself, I do have some questions, but I will switch in Bulgarian so I can invite again the other participants to put questions in the chat. So, надявам се това, което присъствахте в момента, да ви било много интересно и да е възбудило вас различни въпроси. Разбира се, Виктория и Джулия много добре си разказаха всичко. Ако имате въпроси, може би най-добре да се свържете с нас, тъй като имаме много конкретна информация за българските студенти и за дипломата, която ви трябва, за академичните справки, за профилите, които сте си избрали да учите в гимназията. Това са едни специфики, които те така на прима виста няма как да знаят, защото все пак не са българи и не знаят чак толкова в детайл нашата образователна система, но това да не ви плаши, ние сме тук и знаем доста детайлна информация за всяка една от програмите в Radboud University. Така че даже сега, докато надявам се си мислите въпроси, аз ще се възползвам от момента да ви пусна в чата линк към нашия сайт, където е контактната ни форма и нашите контакти, за да можете да си, освен да разгледате сайта. Там също има информация за университета на български език, както и програмите, които предлага бакалаври и магистри съответно. И може да се възползвате, защото имаме безплатна консултация и така можем да ви обърнем индивидуално внимание на вас. Така че да, ако имате някакви въпроси, момичетата също подканиха, задайте си ги. Аз сега ще задам един въпрос от мен, който мисля, че е така важен и интересен. Става въпрос за така наречената седмица на ориентация или Orientation Week, тъй като това е ключов момент в този точно преходен период от кацаме в Нijmegen, какво се случва, как да учим, къде какво се намира, кое ми е важно, как се случват тук нещата, технически, административно, академично и разбира се, както и те самите казаха, да се запознаете с вашите колеги в университета. Това си е много ценно. Аз имам въпрос за акредитирането на тази седмица. Затова сега ще премина отново на английски език. So, girls, I invited everyone to ask their questions in the chat. However, I do have one question myself, and it's about the orientation week. As far as I remember, when I was a student in the Netherlands, it was compulsory to attend the orientation week, and even though we received 3 ECTs, 3 credits for it, is it compulsory to attend the orientation week?
For us, it is not compulsory. You can attend it, and it is highly recommended because it has some like workshops in the beginning where they show you how to manage your time, how to study. They show you the campus and everything, but it is not mandatory. For me, I just moved to the Netherlands like halfway through the orientation week, so I joined the second half, but it was great. I already knew a little bit about the university, so I didn't need to go to all the workshops, but it was a good way to get to know everyone.
Great. Yeah, because I think when we say orientation week and all the workshops and meeting everyone, and especially when we mention the parties, people are like, okay, well, I can miss that. But I just wanted to emphasize that it's very important because it's a crucial moment for students to really to orientate themselves, like location-wise, campus-wise, and yeah, as you said, how everything works there. So yeah, I just wanted to say this for our participants here. Well, I don't see any questions in the chat, which is, we do have, from where can I register for the webinars on the 22nd and the 28th?
You can register on our normal website. If you just go to either meet us online or just Google webinars Radboud, you will find the whole list of all our webinars, and there you can register.
Yeah, I will just add that you will be participating in our event as well, because this is even an extra option. Благослава, благодаря ви много за въпроса на английски език. Чудесно. Също искам да кажа на всички вас, че Radboud University ще дойде на нашето изложение април месец. В София на 18 април започваме Юни Експо. На 19 април сме в Пловдив, а на 20 април ще бъдем във Варна. Така че ще имате шанса да се срещнете най-вероятно лично с Виктория и въобще с Radboud University на живо. И вече на един такъв етап след няколко месеца, където вероятно ще сте минали по една безплатна консултация, ще имате идея вече какво ви се учи и ще знаете доста повече от нас за какви документи ви трябват и ще можете вече да си говорите с Radboud University на живо, което мисля, че е една чудесна възможност. Така че да, наистина онлайн вебинарите са чудесни, те си ги правят, както и Виктория каза, на техния сайт също може да се регистрирате за тях, но знаете, едно е онлайн, както дори в момента, друго си е на живо, така че да, не забравяйте, че април месец ще имате тази възможност. So, yeah, she says thank you in the chat though. I'm not sure if you see the chat, but yeah.
Yeah, so thank
Well, is there any other questions? Имате ли още въпроси? Те ви разказаха и за хаузинга, което също е такава важна тема, както и те споменаха. Не могат да гарантират, тъй като местата в Нидерландия са малко по-ограничени, но те правят абсолютно всичко възможно на лотарийния принцип да ви помогнат. Тук имам още един въпрос. We have another question. It's in English. How does the payment of tuition fee happen? I'll let you say that.
Yeah, so it depends on what you choose. You can decide to pay them in the beginning of the year by bank transfer or like the deduction from your bank account. But you can also pay them in installments and then pay them every month if you want, and then they will deduct it automatically. If you have a scholarship, that works a little bit different, but that depends on your scholarship then.
Thank you. Да, точно така, сега ще го кажа на български език. Беше, когато сте си избрали тази програма в Radboud University, имат възможност за плащане на годишната такса, било то наведнъж или на вноски всеки месец. Както самата и тя каза, има стипендии, при които малко са да по-различно нещата, но вече за такава конкретика абсолютно ви каня да се срещнете с нас и да дискутираме спрямо вашия личен случай, Марти, както сте се кръстили. Така че да, супер, благодаря много за въпроса. Имате ли други въпроси към Джулия, Виктория или към мен? Може би не. Well, I'm not sure we'll be... Oh, we do have... Is it hard to work something while studying in Radboud? Yes, great, about work. Yeah, that's something we didn't cover. Can you say...
Yeah. Julia and I are both working. I think we can share a bit about our experiences. So I work for the university at the study information office, but also worked for the admissions office. There are a lot of opportunities to work for the university, but you can also work in the city because, as Julia said, we're a very young city. There are a lot of cafes, very many bars and everything, and you can find work easily. But of course, you have to decide also for yourself how much you need to focus on your study and how much effort you need to put in all the classes, and how much time you can invest in work. It depends on your personality as well.
Yeah, and also if you think like maybe it's difficult to find something if you don't speak Dutch, a lot of people are international. The Dutch people, they do speak English quite well. So a lot of times when you go to cafes or bars or even normal shops in the city, they're international students working there, so they just speak English, and people, yeah, they don't mind it. And yeah, working for the university, I also do the office job for the information, Radboud information, and I also work as an ambassador for psychology. So it is definitely possible to, yeah, also find something on campus, which in my personal experience is usually a bit more flexible because they keep in mind that you also have deadlines and exams, and they're all really nice. But yeah, I also recommend that if you do look for a job, maybe first study a semester or two and kind of figure out how much time your study takes. Maybe you see like, hey, I'm very, yeah, good with studying in the evening, so a morning job would be something to look for, or the other way around. So just test it out first a bit before jumping also into working.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. It's lovely. I actually also used to work in the university. It was a great option because I didn't need Dutch, and I could also have a different level job, and it was amazing. I was very enthusiastic for the studies. We have another question, and it is, what are the options for master's degree with the BA in psychology from Bulgarian University? Do you want to answer this?
So if they studied in Bulgaria, what they can
Yeah, they
do?
had a bachelor in Bulgaria in psychology.
Okay. Well, you of course have to fulfill the admission requirements. So sometimes they ask for a certain amount of ECs, for instance, in statistics. But if you fulfill that, it shouldn't be a problem to also study with a bachelor from Bulgaria in
Wait,
the Netherlands.
I'm sorry, probably I think the question is more related, like what can she study with the BA of psychology, if I'm not
Yeah, so
mistaken?
at Radboud, we have different kinds of studies for psychology. If is that's the question, like which kind of master's study programs we have for
Yeah, which kind
psychology?
of master programs, yeah, she
Okay,
can study?
awesome. So we have two kinds of masters. We have two-year long masters, which are more research focused. So we have one that I'm studying, which is the research master behavioral science. So that's more generally behavioral science, like the name says. So a lot of psychology, but also communication science, pedagogy. So a bit of mix of everything, and then with a focus on research. And then we have a second one that takes 2 years, and it's also research master, and that's cognitive neuroscience. So if you're really interested in the brain and doing research with the brain, it's also a really growing field. You can study cognitive neuroscience. So there's also psychology, biology, a bit of everything. And then we also have 1 year masters. We have one in work, organization, and health. So more the work psychology, psychology in organizations. So for instance, more with policies or HR, for instance. Then we also have a Dutch language one that's for more clinical psychology. So if you would want to be a therapist in the Netherlands, that would be what you would study, but that is offered in Dutch. And then we have a master on behavior change. So how, more a focus on how we can have people, for instance, become more sustainable. How do we get people to not throw trash on the ground, but in the trash can? So like everything behavior change. How we can use psychology and psychological findings to change people's behavior. So that's pretty much, I think, the studies that we offer.
It's amazing. Like I can just imagine having the bachelor in psychology and then like go, for example, in behavioral science or cognitive neuroscience. I think it's so exciting and thrilling. Thank you so much for the good answer. I was switching Bulgarian again. Елиза, благодаря за този въпрос. Okay. She continues, I'm also studying an additional study, philosophy for teacher. Is there any master's degree for this field? Thank you.
We
Yeah,
do
for
have philosophy also as a master. There's also a specific philosophy behavior connected one. So like a master for philosophy and behavioral science, kind of. I'm not sure the exact name, but maybe Victoria, you wanted to say something.
yeah, for philosophy, we have quite a lot of master programs because every bigger field has a philosophy program. So you can do, like Julia just said, like the philosophy for behavioral science or behavioral change. You can also do the general philosophy master. We have there one that is 1 year and one that is 2 years. I think we even have one that goes 3 years. So there's a lot of options. And if you want to study philosophy to become a teacher, there's also an educational master for that. So the best would be just to look at the list and see which one of those is the best fit for you, because they are all very nuanced and they have different courses and different focuses. Yeah.
Yeah, I also know you have the pedagogical sciences, which is also
Yeah.
related to her studies and her interests. So, Елиза, това са така много, много чудесни конкретни въпроси. Направо свържете се с нас, за да можем така по-индивидуално да погледнем вашия случай, да можем да ви предложим нали, различни програми към Radboud, които ви интересуват и да ви разкажа малко повече за тях. И съответно нали, да можем да видим и вашата диплома и как се съотнася спрямо изискванията, които има от университета. Така че ви каня на линка по-горе да се свържете с нас. И много ви благодаря за тези въпроси. Наистина, надявам се, е било интересно и за другите участници да разберат повече за палитрата от магистратури, които Radboud предлага. Супер. Well, I think we're out of questions. And I think we covered a lot of stuff, including what can I work? It's a good question. It's an important question. And it's good that we have people interested in master degrees, especially when you are currently master students. So that was very, very useful. Well, maybe we can go into conclusion of this webinar. I invited everybody to our fair to meet you and to meet you in person, because it's a different experience, of course. And in April, probably they'll have more detailed information and more narrowed interest. So thank you very much, Victoria and Julia. It was very interesting to me as well. And I'll see you in April or on your live webinars before that.
Thank you as well.
Thank you. Благодаря на всички за този вебинар. Заповядайте на линка да се свържете с нас и вече да можем да ви обърнем индивидуално внимание. Това беше от нас и до скоро. Успешна седмица!